Today I'm going to be making some upgrades to my Portland Harbor Freight power washer that I got maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a great little power washer for what I've needed it for, but unfortunately over the years some parts have started to break, one of them being this handle here, which just leaks most of the time. So what the game plan is today is we're going to put a new handle on as well as a new hose. So let's see how it performs right now with the leaking handle. And over here you can see I've got plenty of algae to deal with on this fence. So let's see if this pressure washer can even knock off any of this algae as it is now. As you can see, hopefully you can hear me, but as you can see, this thing is leaking quite a lot, causing this pressure washer to always run when it's not in use even. So let's try to blast some of the stuff off the fence now. It's got a cam in her, huh? So clearly it's capable of still taking some algae off, but if we take a closer look here, some of this other stuff is just not coming off. And right now I've got this set to what would be like a 15-degree spray pattern. So that's kind of what the nozzle will be using for in comparison when we upgrade it. So the first thing we're gonna do here is turn off the machine, as well as turn off the water supply to the machine. And I just have a hose here that has a little switch that you can turn off, and then we're gonna make sure there's no water pressure in the hose at all. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna unscrew this here. We could just end up replacing this handle, but that would give us limited options in the future if we ever wanted to change the handle or change styles, because the hose connection in here isn't so standard. And on the outlet here, we've got an M22 by 15 thread, and we're going to be changing that to an M22 by 14 with an adapter, just because M22 by 14 is a little more standard. And that happens to be what's on these hose fittings here. So I picked up this little adapter on Amazon, and there will be a link in the description below where you can buy it as well. I think it was only like 10 bucks. Comes with this little bit of Teflon, which we're going to be putting on the outer threads of this. And with this, you just put this over the outlet of the pressure washer and screw it on. For this, we're just gonna give this a couple of wrap arounds, just once all the threads are covered. That's really all you'll need. And now that we've got our Teflon tape on, we're gonna screw this onto the machine. And this doesn't have to be cranked down crazy tight because this is an aluminum fitting here and it can break. So the hose featured in this video does come with a bunch of adapters for quick connects, and we're gonna make use of that. So before we screw on the hose to this machine, what we're gonna do, we're gonna put a quick connect on the end of the hose, and we're gonna put a quick connect on the end here. So we're gonna take one of the quick connect fittings supplied here, and we're just gonna tighten it down like this. Again, going hand tight, nothing crazy. If you want this off of your machine, you can always just unscrew everything, because this is going to take up an extra, maybe like 3 inches. And now we're gonna take this flexible hose, and we're gonna take one end here, and we're going to thread this on here, which you probably don't need thread sealant for, because there is an O-ring inside of there. So it's unlikely it's gonna seal without Teflon. So we'll see. So first we're gonna install it without Teflon. We're just gonna screw this on. And again, this doesn't have to be crazy tight. And now we have a quick connect fitting on the end of our hose, which will go just like that. And that makes things nice and easy. And then we're gonna do the same for this end of the hose. Again, this has that rubber gasket, so probably not going to need Teflon for this either. And we're just gonna tighten it hand tight again as well. So that part was pretty easy. Next, we're gonna take this giant pressure washer handle, which actually, I bought this because it can be unscrewed like this. And that way you can have a short end here for like when you're washing your car and you don't want that extra distance, or for whatever purposes might fit you better. You can also make it this length with a fitting on the end of it, or this length if you prefer, or you can make it as long as you possibly can. And we're just gonna do that for fun today. This also doesn't have to be cranked down terribly tight either, because this does seal with some O-rings too. So now we're gonna take our other quick connect fitting and we're gonna get it onto here. And since this is a M22 by 14, and so is this that the hose came with, this should fit just fine, which it looks like it does. Same thing, we're just going hand tight, nothing crazy. All we'll have left to do is just connect it like this. And that was pretty easy. We have a whole new, nice kink-free hose, which is gonna be helpful, especially when we're going to wash our car and stuff. And it's also a 50-foot hose, so for my backyard, I don't have to worry about bringing an extension cord all the way through the rest of the backyard, which would be a lot to deal with. If I put this in the middle of the yard, this hose is going to be able to get me most of the way, at least 50% of the yard done, instead of where this hose wouldn't have, I would have had to stack a bunch of extension cords and whatnot to get to each side of the fence. I mentioned before I had about a 15-degree nozzle setting on this adjustable stock nozzle, so that's what we're gonna do with this. We're gonna use a 15-degree as well. Fortunately, this handle does come with an assortment of nozzles as well, so we're just gonna choose this yellow one here, that's 15 degrees, and see how it works on the fence. And in order to do that, all you'll have to do is place this handle in. So let's see what this does in comparison to the old one now. Turn the water back on. See, we've got some water coming through. Yep. There we go. Now let's get some pressure running through. There. Now it's gonna be able to shut off in between when I have my handle on and when it's off. Before, when it was just leaking out, it was constantly running, which is annoying. So let's give it a try now. So my initial thought is it actually does feel like there's a bit more of a kick with it. I'm guessing that maybe this hose is better flowing and this handle works a little bit better and I'm not losing as much pressure out of the handle. And I'll bring you up close because you won't be able to see from back there, but it is actually making a bit of a difference. So it's going to be just a little bit difficult to tell, but let's see if we can make some cleaner passes over it and knock off some more stuff. All right, perfect example here. So this side here is what I already hit before with the other stock handle. And here you can see how much lighter it is when I go over it with this. So let's see if it makes any difference from a little further away now. Oh yeah. So hopefully it comes through on camera, but you can definitely tell it's doing a lot better job than it was with the stock handle setup. And that's mainly because there was so much pressure being lost with the stock handle leaking. And now that we have this setup going on, we can always replace this handle much easier now, and we don't have to buy any more adapters or anything else. And these handles can be found for pretty cheap on Amazon. So why don't we take care of the rest of the fence and see how it goes. My guess is for stuff that's a little bit harder on here, we'll probably need some sort of bleach to let that sit on there for a little while to get that older mold and algae off. Although this upgrade has worked quite well, we are still limited at the 1750 PSI that machine actually puts out. So let's get some bleach on there and see how it works. So now for some of the harder stains like the mold over here, we're going to be using a bathroom cleaner that has some bleach in it, which should get up all this old mold on this fence. If you're going to use this, I recommend wearing gloves and some clothes that you don't care about because this could ruin it, especially when you get the spray back on you. And as you can see, I've got quite a lot of work cut out for me. And if you're still watching, I will be doing a lawn restoration series eventually because this is pretty bad. But when we got here, there was no grass at all. Well, thunderstorm's about to roll in, so I haven't got a whole lot of time left. Let's see if we can finish off this fence now that the cleaning agent has had its time to do some work. All right, so the rain is definitely starting to kick in, so that's where I'm gonna have to cut it now. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is an upgrade I definitely recommend. The handle is a lot more comfortable and there's no leak, so obviously there's gonna be an increase in pressure. And now more importantly, I can do that and gotta turn the water off first before I remember to do that, and connect almost any tool to this, which is gonna be pretty helpful. And now we can also put on different attachments on there like you can't with most electric power washers. So stay tuned because we're gonna see if this will actually start cleaning concrete on the driveway with one of those concrete cleaners. But that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, like it if you liked it. Remember, as always, keep it foul.